Hey, I'm James from Smokin' Dad BBQ, and today we are responding to your question, which is, can the Kamado Joe beat the Kamado Joe? I need to explain a little bit more. A couple weeks ago, I did a pizza on the Kamado Joe using a brand new DoJoe accessory, which I got after having pizza off of a friend's wood-fired pizza oven. And I thought, can I make pizza just as good in my backyard using the grill that I already have? I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check out that video. But today's video is answering your question. Do I even need the DoJoe? Can I make pizza just as good off the Kamado Joe without adding that accessory? I don't know. We're gonna find out. So today we're doing Kamado Joe versus Kamado Joe. Let's fire it up and find out. Okay, so it just started raining, so I won't leave the camera out here too long, but let me walk you through the setup for each Joe. So this one, I'm gonna throw the DoJoe in, and we're gonna let it come up to about 450 degrees Fahrenheit before installing our DoJoe. And that's to help get some radiant heat in the dome, which will act like a broiler and help cook the top of our toppings. The Joe over here, I'm gonna show you, but I'm using my heat deflectors in a pizza pie, ironically position, to allow some heat to escape in between them and come up and also add some heat into the dome. And I love any chance that we get, warm our ceramics up gradually versus just shocking them with some heat. So let me bring you a little closer so you can see each of the two setups. Depending on what you have at home, I'll walk you through how to do each one. Okay, for our DoJoe setup, we've got just the charcoal basket in with some big block, and we're gonna just let that burn and start to fill this up with heat, and then we'll go ahead and throw on our DoJoe. So I'm gonna just let this fire build up a little bit longer, and we'll be ready to install the DoJoe. Okay, for the traditional setup, I've installed the divide and conquer rack. And on the second level, I have a Classic 3. So depending on if you have a Classic 2 or a Classic 3, if you have a 2-level or 3-level, you want a bit of an air gap between your pizza stone and your heat deflector plates. And so on the 3-tier system, I'm going for the second level, as this will give us a little bit more space from the charcoal so that heat isn't just capped and held at the bottom, but it's allowed to come up and help broil our toppings. And when we reach the temperature that we want, around also about 450 degrees, what I'll do is I'll slide these together once we've got some heat in our dome, and then we'll install our grids and we'll add our pizza stone so it can also heat up. So both pizza stones will be heating up around the same time. Let me again close this dome and we'll let the heat build, and I'll rejoin you when we're ready to move on to the next step.
All right, so that's what 5 minutes of leaving big block alone does. We've got our fire ready on that Kamado, and we've got our fire ready on this Kamado. So I'm going to move back to the tripod and we can close our plates and install the DoJoe.
All right, so you're gonna want a pair of high heat gloves for this. There's a lot of great ones. I put an Amazon affiliate link, which means I get a small commission if you order those. You don't need to buy these ones. You don't pay any extra, but it's down below if you're looking for a good pair. These are rated for 930 degrees. They don't last forever, but man, do they protect your hands when you're moving something this hot around. So let's go ahead and slide our plates into position and install our DoJoe. So as you saw on fast forward, we've got our DoJoe in place. The DoJoe, written right on it, has a max temperature of 700 degrees Fahrenheit. So when we get close to that, we're going to start adjusting our bottom vent, and we will close the top vent. And when we do that, you'll get that rush of hot air which comes up through the dome, since it can't escape, and out the front, so you get amazing convection with the DoJoe. For our Kamado Joe setup with a pizza stone, what we're gonna do is we can get away a little bit hotter since we're not using the DoJoe. So I'm gonna look for about 800 degrees. And the reason I'm doing that is we have to open the dome to rotate our pizza and slide it in. We're going to lose some heat. But when we do that, the pizza stone is going to be too hot. And so what I like to do is once we've got our stone in, our deflector plates closed, it's going to allow that stone to heat up more gradually versus just being shocked with direct exposure to any flames, is I'm going to get a wet rag, and not a good one. My wife's already reminded me that. Don't use the good rags, just passing it along. And we are going to cool that stone right when we slide our pizza on. And what I found that helps balance is the perfect doneness from the heat coming up from the bottom, as well as the radiant heat coming from up top. This is gonna be close. I don't know. We're gonna find out if the pizza coming off the Kamado Joe as is any better, as good, not as good as the DoJoe, and we'll go from there. All right, our grills are up to temperature. So we are just over 670 degrees on the DoJoe. So that's about where I'm going to stop, given the maximum of 700 degrees. No such worries on this Kamado Joe. We are sitting at 850. We've almost pegged this at 900, and that happens so fast. So I don't really want to go above 900 because the pizza will just cook quicker than I can even turn it. So I'm thinking this one, I'm going to rotate every 30 to 45 seconds or so, and it should be done in about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And I think the DoJoe at this temperature will be 2 to maybe 3 minutes. So in order to be able to do a side-by-side, we've got 4 pizzas ready to go, but we're going to do 2 of the exact same type of pizza as close as possible at the same time. And Mother Nature is not cooperating with us, but what I'll do is I'll cook 2, take them in, bring them back out, put the camera back out in the rain for a moment, and we'll do a little bit of a taste test and see if there's a difference in taste, texture, look, and anything else that we learned between the 2 Kamado Joes that we're using today, one with the DoJoe, one without. So without further ado, let's make some pies. It's go time. All right, I forgot to mention one helpful tip if you're using a Kamado Joe without the DoJoe, is once you see that temperature cross 700 to 800 degrees, one of the things I like to do is just close my dome a little bit and give that about 1 minute, and you'll notice the temperature will very quickly drop. But doing that traps a lot more heat in your dome, and it gets us the heat that we want to radiate and can broil, a convection oven effect on our pizza. So you only need to do this for 1 minute or 2, and then you're ready to open that back up. But what we've done now, like I said, is we've trapped some of that extra heat in our dome, and it'll just really help your pizza get that broiled look. So now what I'm going to do is use this damp rag, and we're just going to cool that stone so that we are not over temperature when it is time to put on our pizza. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, that's great. That's all it takes. We don't want to get too much water on there, just enough to cool that down a little bit and make sure that we get even doneness on our pizza. Let's get them out. All right, it's go time. We're gonna start off with 2 pepperoni pizzas. Let's go ahead and get them on. Again, our temp is right under 700 degrees, and this is now over 900 degrees. So I'm gonna do the DoJoe first and use the timer on my watch. Don't mean to be looking away from you, but this is gonna go fast. So let's get them on. So now that we've got our 2 pizzas on, what I want to do, again, every 45 seconds or so, is rotate those. You can go from 45 up to 1.5 minutes. We'll just take a peek at about the 45-second mark, and by the time I get to both of them, we'll probably be averaging about 1 minute. So if you're doing this at home at these temperatures, anywhere from 45 to 60 seconds is a good mark, but you can go as long as 1.5 minutes, and that won't be a problem. You'll just likely rotate it once. That'll be really easy on the DoJoe because we can actually take a peek, do a pitmaster peekaboo on our pizza, see how it's going, And then for the Joe behind me where I can't see, we're just gonna go on instinct and know that we wanna rotate that and give it 1 or 2 rotations for the total cook. So, speaking of time, we are coming up on our first minute. So let's rotate our DoJoe pizza and then we'll rotate the Kamado Joe pizza. Oh, that looks good. That looks really good. That doesn't look that bad either. Whew. As I almost send it flying. Oh, the things that happen on live camera. Let's continue on, and we'll check again in another 45 seconds or so. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see the Pitmaster Peekaboo. This again is one of the advantages of the DoJoe, is that we can just peek right in and see that crust is rising. That's not the pizza burning, that's parchment paper. And you guys asked a lot about that last time. That does not flavor the pizza in our experience at all. Let's take a look over here. So look how quick that temperature recovers. We are right back to 900 degrees. I just had that open. And we are getting our pepperonis charring on top. The advantage of that residual heat stuck in the dome. All right. So we are at the 2-minute mark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rotate this pizza, see how we're doing again. I think we might actually be close to done. I think we are done. Let's get a look over here. Ooh, I also think we are done. All right. All right, so let's take a look at the bottom of our 2 pizza pies. Here we are. So that looks pretty good. There we are. That looks pretty good. Let's take these in, slice them up, and we'll give each one a taste. All right, so we've got our 2 sample pieces. On the left, we have the DoJoe versus the right, Kamado Joe. Regular pizza. Let's dig in and find out if we can taste the difference. I'm gonna start with the Kamado Joe pizza. I haven't tasted both yet. I don't know what's gonna win. But if you're contemplating a pizza oven, wood-fired pizza oven versus Kamado Joe, I just gotta, this is the regular one. It's so good. You've not had pizza until you've tried wood-fired pizza. This is amazing. And we are now pegged to be on 900 degrees, 2 minutes. This is awesome. Let's try the other one, the DoJoe. So there is the slightest difference. This is splitting hairs and we're relying only on my taste buds. I'm not a food critic. The DoJoe I am going to give a 1% advantage on taste and texture. That crust just hit my tongue a little bit better than the crust off of the regular Joe. I thought it was actually going to be dead even, but I can taste the difference. Is it worth $200-300 difference? No. The only reason I would look again at the DoJoe is, like me, if you were tempted by a pizza oven, you had some fear of missing out when some friends got a pizza oven, you can convert your Joe into a pizza oven and have that same experience where you can bake and see what you're cooking. For taste alone, don't do it. Not worth it. 1%. I mean, it's very close, 1%. So go for the theater, go for the fun, go for the pizza experience. But if you don't have that, my gosh, can you make a good pizza on your Kamado Joe. So I don't really think there's a loser here because they're both really good pizzas. But I am surprised. I actually thought we were going to end up in a dead tie. I was not expecting that coming in today. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys suggesting this video in the comments. I read through all those, respond to them. So if there's something else you want to see me do, please let me know in the comments of this video and I'll be sure to add it to an upcoming video. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you next time.